Well, hi everyone. We are back in our discussions with regard to faith in the arenas of life, our Links Players Bible study. And my friend for this particular set of conversations is Greg Hurley. Greg wrote a white paper as a certified financial planner, or a
biblical financial
planner, which is where he's taking his business in these recent years. And we took that white paper and have formatted this Bible study for you. We are on the 6th lesson now, which addresses the 4th C from Greg's white paper, and that C is children. And we've entitled this lesson, The Next Generation. And it is so important, Greg. People come to you, I know, money in hand, portfolio in hand, and they say, how do I get this from me to my kids? And I know one of the things that you say is, well, let's talk about getting wisdom to your kids ahead of wealth.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, no, I just, my son is 3, and I just think of what I know about money and the experiences, both good and bad, that I've had with money personally, and what I want to teach him, you know, because from very early on, he's going to have to start making money decisions, you know, allowances, and now he has a piggy bank that's actually divided up into the ways you can use money.
Oh,
I don't know
cool.
if you know about that.
Cool. No, haven't seen that.
There's 6 different ways that you can use money. You don't know about it, and a lot of people don't, and I didn't know about it until this guy, Ron Blue from Kingdom Advisors, which is a Christian kind of financial planning group out of Atlanta, wrote it in this book, Master Your Money. He writes about 5. I added a 6 because it was so dear to my heart. Hoarding. So, so you have saving and investing, living expenses, you have repayment of debt, and you have giving, and then you have hoarding, and that's really an issue.
Yeah.
You know, because I think of what he, you know, what he's going to do, and I think of our Heavenly Father, his view of money, and what he's trying to teach us who want to be taught, right? For a number of years, I'm like, well, I got this, you know. I got money. I know what to do with it. I know best, right? But really, our Father knows best, our Heavenly Father. So when I think about passing wisdom, I really think about the idea of teaching what I know to my son, because one day he'll receive, you know, an inheritance. But I also think of an inheritance as kind of me spending time with him while I'm alive, you know, instead of just giving him this lump sum and spending my time in my career or doing all these other things that are important. But I feel that in order for me to do it right is to be able to share with him now the uses of money. Because you think about the golf grip, right? For years I had this nasty hook, right? And someone came up to me and was like, you're gripping the club too tight. And I'm like, oh, well, that could be it, you know? And I think for a lot of us, in order to have the optimal swing, right, you have to have this loose grip. And I think the same thing with money. If we have this loose grip on our money, we'll have a much better, fulfilling life, and that's what I want to instill in him.
Certainly, when we read biblically, there's a lot of pass-through. Money comes into our hands, but there's so much for us to do biblically. I love the idea of adding hoarding.
Right.
Because, boy, would I hesitate to put anything in that hoarding slot, in that piggy bank, but without something to, you know, get my attention in that way, this is what you're really doing with that money, I wouldn't think of it that way.
Well, actually, I looked up the difference between saving and hoarding, and there's only one word difference, is hidden. And, you know, so you think, I mean, for a lot of years I was hoarding, and I didn't really share with people that I had, you know, I was, you know, saving a lot and stuff. But really it's the idea of keeping something away so other people don't know you have it, so they won't ask you for it, right? You know, so when we think about giving, really it should be this idea of being able to share what God has entrusted us with. And I think that's where we get stuck, because we have all these reports from Kiplinger's and Morningstar, oh, we need to save this amount, you know, for retirement and all of that. And the Bible doesn't really talk about retirement, but it does talk about that God will take care of us. He takes care of the birds, he'll take care of us. And for me, that was really a game changer in helping me realize of how much I actually needed to save, and then I've been able to share that. Not that saving isn't important, it definitely is. But I think people just take it to an extreme, and then at the end of their lives, you know, they have all this money, and then they just maybe give it to their kids before really passing on the living inheritance that I think our Heavenly Father wants us to give to our children.
Now, your son, Luke, is 3. I mean, obviously, because of what you do, you're teaching him these valuable lessons right from the beginning.
Right, but I don't think it's ever too late, you know. And it's challenging, right? I don't have a teenager. I don't have someone who's in their 20s or their 30s. You know, but I don't think it's too late. And there's a lot of different resources available. You know, you think outside the box, but writing letters to your children, doing videos like this, there's all sorts of different things in order to get their attention. Texting, you know, buying them a book, going through a Bible study with them, or a book study with them. Master Your Money is a great resource. Ron Blue's written that book. And really, it's never too late to change your own behavior, because that's really what leads to change in behavior of others. You can say, I'm going to save and not hoard and give, but if I'm not doing it, if my son doesn't see me give of my time, then he's not going to really do it either. And that's, I think, critical.
Well, certainly my sons are up and out now of the house, and yet, you know, I would hope that they would feel comfortable coming and asking me some questions that I can help them with financially, because I've learned by doing, which means I've learned by mistaking.
Well, yeah, I'm
you
the
know,
king of that.
and and so it is something we want to give, not just the money. I mean, I love giving to my kids, but more than that, I love giving them the insight into what they can do with their own money.
So they don't make the same mistakes you did.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always better to learn lessons through somebody else.
Well, and I really
through
think
our own mistakes.
that really prevents a lot of people from getting into their calling and getting into the rhythm that they need to, and getting into debt, and it prevents them from making the right decisions that God would have them to make.
Yeah.
So,
Great. Thanks, Greg.
welcome.
And thank you to you, and we will see you again when we reconvene for Lesson 7 of Faith in the Arenas of Life.